Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan from Great Card Fighters, and today I'm going to be discussing Great Nature, as you can see from the image. Great Nature just recently won Worlds, and the reason they won Worlds is because it does really good against high pressure. So it actually can beat out Angel Feather pretty well, especially since it's Excel. It gains a lot of power, and it gains effects depending on what you milled. So this clan is very versatile. It has sustain, and I see it doing really well in standard. In premium, not so much, but it should be a very good clan, even if you want to take it to your locals. Now, the main VR for this clan is Leopold. If you ride him over a grade 3, you can activate his secondary skill twice. Mill your first card. If it's a normal unit, you gain to check the top 4, Superior Call 2, and then if you milled a trigger unit, he gains plus 15,000 and a crit. So if you happen to mill 2 triggers, God forbid that happens, but if you did, he gains plus 30,000 and a crit. Now on V, that means that your Vanguard's going to be base 42 with 2 crits. That's already swinging for magic numbers. So if your opponent doesn't have a perfect guard or a protect, then that's going to be a lot of cards they drop from hand. And if they take it, and you happen to pull any triggers or any triggers at all, let's say you're running nothing but crits, you're running 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal, and you happen to pull 2 more crits, that means that's game, because your opponent just took 5 damage in 1 turn. Now, if they happen to guard it, and they put you 2 to pass, and you only drew 1 trigger, now you have other units that gain power. Basically, all around, it's going to be hell to guard. Then, if you did mill a normal unit, you have more field that you can fill up, especially with the extra rearguard circles. The other big grade 3 to ride is Hamsuke, who's a ride chain. And if you ride him over the rest of his ride chain, you gain 2 Excel markers in the same turn. It's kind of like riding Sagramore and then using the Ezel ride skill to gain 2 Excel markers, but with a lot less of a cost. And you get to call 2 from your hand. Then you have the Bison, who's actually a really good card. So on Rearguard or Vanguard Circle, you can Counterblast one and give a unit 5k. And then on Vanguard Circle, if you activate that skill, that Rearguard restands. So let's say you have a Geograph Giant on Rearguard. Geograph Giant is a card which I'll get to later, but he's on an Excel circle. He attacks with the Vanguard, activate Vanguard skill. Geograph Giant restands. Next card I want to go over is Binoculus Tiger. If you milled a normal card, draw 1. And if you milled a trigger unit, retire 1 rearguard of your opponent and add 5k to 3 cards in your front row. So even if you draw 1, that's a plus. But if you mill a trigger, you get to take out one of your opponent's interceptors, give 5k to 3 cards in your front row. So if you had 3 Excel circles, that's plus 3k to all Excel circles, or wherever you want to put it, as long as in the front row, meaning that they become harder to guard, and you just took away one of your opponent's options of guarding, pressuring that hand. Then you have Geograph Giant, which I alluded to earlier. On an Excel circle, he gains plus 8k. He's basically a better Tornus, because Tornus, you need no cards in Soul. This deck doesn't really require you to not have Soul. So just put him on Excel circle, and he's always at 27 on your turn, 17 on your opponent's turn because it's a continuous skill. So if you combo that with Bison plus 5k, that's 32 every swing. Plus, if he restands. So your opponent, if they're on if they're using Excel Protect, they're already dropping 2 no matter what. And if they're using Force, they'd have to give up 2 heal triggers to be able to guard that with just 1 card. So most likely your opponent's dropping 2 cards no matter what. Next card is Zebra. For every card you put into your drop zone when you activate a skill, he gains plus 5k. So let's say you used Leopold's skill twice, that's plus 10k. Then you call the Binoculars Tiger, that's another 5k. So you're getting at least plus 15k in a turn if you just called those cards. But if you called other cards that mill, no matter what, each card you mill, it's an auto skill, so it keeps stacking. So Zebra can get actually really big. Put him on, and if you have him boosting by one of your guard restrict cards, then he becomes really hard to guard. And he can also become like a silent. He becomes a very good pressure card. That's what this deck does well, is that it's all about the pressure. That's why you see a lot of builds that they run front triggers or crit triggers. Me personally, I'd be a fan of the 6. I'd actually be a fan of the 5 crit, 3 fronts, or 6 crit, 2 fronts. Anything that can add pressure, because in my experience, crits win games. Now, you have Silverwolf, that if he's in the back row, he's 12k. So he gains 4k just for being in the back row. So it doesn't matter what counter, like what you had a counter blast, what you had a soul blast. No, he's a free skill. Just put him in the back. That's it. Then you have Monoculous Tiger. If you milled a normal unit, no PGs. Doesn't matter, protect markers, draw PG, no, can't use them. Then, if you only mill the trigger, they can only call triggers to the Guardian Circle. So if you call them behind like a Zebra, then that Zebra becomes Silent Tom, basically. Because your opponent can either not perfect guard, or they can't guard anything but triggers. So that means that if they had a trigger for each time you attacked, they can only guard it 16 times. And because they're dropping triggers most likely to guard Leopold, that means that most of those attacks are going through. So this deck is just good all around. It's the Excel deck that maybe we should have had from the beginning. Maybe Excel would have been the better marker, gift marker that we all thought it was going to be when Nova Grapplers first came out, or when Standard was first announced. So the pros of the deck is that you have high power columns, draw power, and multi-attack. The bad part of the deck is that you have really bad early game pre-grade 3. So if there's a deck out there that can rush them down, this deck would do actually really bad, because you still need cards in your hand in order to call them. So the clans that this deck would probably do pretty bad against is definitely Gold Paladin, Neo Nectar, Tachikaze, and maybe Shadow Paladin. Actually, more Aqua Force and Pale Moon than Shadow Paladin. Now, the deck it does well against is going to be Angel Feather, Kagero. Decks that are slow starting, definitely Dark Irregulars. Dark Irregulars just get trashed by almost every clan. I would say it has a 50-50 chance against Morokumo and Dimension Police since they have the same startup time. Dimension Police, they're good late game. So if this deck can actually start the engine quickly, then I would say Great Nature wins. Just due to the fact that there's just so much pressure and draw power. Now you can deal with the Vanguard swings and then just take the additional ride from Great Daikaiser. Now, the way you beat Great Nature is either A, as I said before, rush them down, or B, you make it so that they have to guard a lot every turn. Because if you make them guard and you take out things like Geograph Giant immediately, then it makes this deck a lot less powerful because this deck will deck out moderately fast. This deck is highly dependent upon what you mill. Now, while they're good effects all around, if you can outlast them, they can't do anything about it. So I can see this deck struggling hard against OTT as well. Because OTT is just one of those decks that if you cannot restrict their writing, you can't beat them. Or it's actually very difficult for them to beat them. So this deck is basically luck of the draw. But if you have a good RNG, this deck may just be for you. Anyway, for my next clan I'm going to be doing, I would like if you guys either like and subscribe and then comment below what deck you would like to see. Right now, it's between Angel Feather and the new support for Royal Paladin. So please please let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.